Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. Sun rays and on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
What does perfect even mean? Is there even such a thing? Ooh, can we switch up all the rules and imagine a utopia? Darling, I'm just so fed up with these expectations. They keep weighing me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm gonna live inside the upside down for a minute and pretend, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a, yeah. Honey, I'm a perfect 10.
I'm on my own, broken and alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air like a blazing flare. Don't stare 'cause the flames will burn us. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you
Right, so it seems that everything's working, at least on my side. YouTube is showing that we're live, and I'll just tune the music a little bit. So I hope it isn't too loud. The output in Streamlabs is set to 720, so I hope it will pick it up. Either way, let's start it up. I'll open what we need to do and close the picture. Alright, so hello everyone. I want to welcome you here at live modding stream. And today I want to show you how to create a decal, how to create a wrap from scratch. So we'll start from this picture and we'll try to recreate this into Bastimeter 18. It is skin of RWE, which is a local German company in Erzgebirge, which means like local part of Germany. And we'll be making it for Cetra, as this bus is Cetra. And we'll be making wrap from scratch in Photoshop, and the decal will be just the logo itself. I will show you how to create it from scratch in Unreal Engine 4, how to set it up for the first use, how to create the plugin, etc. And then, after we finish this, we'll look at the map. I'll show you my progress on the map, and you'll see what it's gonna be next. Okay, so it seems that the YouTube is still running in 480p, which is weird, because if we look here. I've set it up, output scale resolution to 720. I can try bumping up a little bit the bitrate, because YouTube is YouTube. But on my Surface, on my laptop, now it shows 720. If I refresh, now it's 720. So hopefully YouTube just pick it up and it works. It's my first time streaming on YouTube, so yeah, mostly I stream on Twitch. It seems like it's 720p now, so let's go. Alright, so we decided to create a decal. The first thing we need to do is actually download the modding tools themselves, and they'll be located in our folder where we downloaded the game itself. So for me, we have to look for Steam Library, that's what I named it, Steam Apps, and here we need to go to Workshop, Content, find the Bus Simulator 18 Steam ID, which is 515180. We open it up, and here we basically need to find the folder which has 5.5 gigabyte file in it, and that's our modding tools. So we need to unpack this and open up the Bus Simulator 18.u project, and we also need to have installed Unreal Engine 4.18 4.3, I guess it is. I'll open up Epic Launcher real quick and take a look. Hello everyone, I want to welcome everyone here on stream. I've set up some alerts, so if you subscribe there will be like a bus or something like that. Okay, so Unreal Engine Library, yeah, it's 4.18.3, which is the version of Bus Simulator modding tools. Will I upload live stream? Yes, definitely. There will be a record here on YouTube. And also greetings to Germany. Alright, so now we've opened up the Unreal Engine. It will take some time because the first load is really long every time. It can get stuck on like 45%. That's just the Unreal Engine unpacking itself, and it really takes a long time. Don't be worried about it. After we open the Unreal Engine and the project, we need to open the content folder in here and open up folder mod tool and double click on config, and we need to set up the game install directory. So for me it is on disk H in folder Steam Library, Steam Apps, come on, Bus Simulator 18. So that's what we want to write in here. And Steam command executable is for uploading to Workshop, and Steam username as well. We'll do that later, so we don't need to worry about that now. Save it, close it, and we have set up the engine itself. Now we need to create a new plugin, the mod itself. So we will go Edit, Plugins, and click New Plugin. Here we name the plugin. It must be like a unique name. You cannot use it. You cannot do two same names. So here we will do like live stream, just to have it separate. Content only. We need to click that, and we should fill out the description data as well. So author and description. So live stream mod and URL and whatever. You don't have to fill it out. Create the plugin. It will take some time. And now we should have a plugin created. We need to wait for it to disappear. And if you look here on the left, you should have live stream content. So yeah, we have that. Now we need to create the mod info itself. I always take it out somewhere because I'm too lazy to create it, but it should be around here, I guess. Yeah. So if you don't have a already existing mod, right click, go to miscellaneous, click on data asset, and click on mod info. Click select and name it mod info. Otherwise it will not work. So it needs to be mod info with capital M and capital I. You save it, you open it, and here you can set up the name, the preview picture, description, whatever. We don't have to do that now. We'll just name it like live stream content. Or just live stream. And save it. That's all we have to do. If you click cook, it normally doesn't work. If you create the plugin, you have to restart the engine for it to cook. But right now, we need to add the picture, add the decal. So we take our picture. I will do this one because it's higher resolution. And I just simply drag it into the Unreal Engine. Here I have the logo itself. Next thing is to rename it. So I'll name it livestream logo. Or just livestream L, because shorter is better. Now, we open the mod info again and look at bus decals. Click the plus sign and we need to select the texture. So that's going to be livestream L. We save it and we have to set up unique decal ID. It will not work otherwise if you don't set up the ID. So it has to be unique ID. If you name two things with the same ID, it will override itself. So livestream L. It can be numbers, it can be name, whatever. Here you can set up the custom cost in cents. So if you want the decal to be expensive, you can set it out, but let's keep it cheap. Let's keep it at 0. Now we save it, and all I have to do now is restart the Unreal Engine so we can cook it. So here I will just go back to my folder, open up the Unreal Engine, open up the project, and I'll have to close down my virtual reality stuff that I use for developing. I'll just clean up the desktop. I had it prepared, but then something happened. OBS didn't want to do whatever. On the workshop, I previously uploaded a small concept bus, which was just to try everything. And a fully fledged bus is not done at the moment and not in the near future. It will take some time to just do it. To be honest, I'm not good in modeling custom stuff. I did the Unreal part, so imported the mesh, set it up, animations for the wheels and other little stuff. But in the future, maybe if I get hold on a proper bus model, I'll try to create a better bus. Or maybe in the future I'll learn how to do it, how to model stuff properly. I just do like little stuff in my map, like custom assets. Alright, so now if we cook the mod, it starts running the command line, takes some time, and don't worry about the warnings. You cannot do anything about them. If there are only warnings, it's good. If there are errors, it's bad, basically. So as you look, it's still cooking. But decals are pretty quick, wraps as well. The map takes a lot longer than this. It's basically running through the whole engine, through the whole project. And it cooked. You can see it took 17 seconds and 29 warnings. Don't worry about the warnings. Press any key to continue and copy to game directory. It copied. Click again. And now we can open up Steam, find our bus simulator, which is in favorites, and hit play. And now we have to wait for it to launch, and I'll create a new company and I'll also show you how to turn the mod on in the game, because you have to manually do that. It will not be automatically in all your companies. Alright, so the game is loading. Yeah, I see the question now. Well, the thing is that I would love to make a fully fledged bus, like is the Solaris on the workshop. But the problem is I don't have the 3D modeling skills to create the bus itself and the interior and stuff. So I would love to collaborate with someone who can model. So I would say I need to model this thing for it to work, and he'll model it, and then I can do it in Unreal Engine. Because I try to learn the Unreal Engine part, but the modeling is much harder in my eyes. So we can use the existing company or create a new one. I'll use the originally created for testing. So we open up the mods tab and we need to find our livestream mod. So let's go, let's find it where it is. I don't see it now, so let's go through it again. Yeah, livestream. So we have to click enable mode, enable the mod, close it, and then load the company. Well, regarding the OMSI models, they're different. They're different from Bus Simulator 18, so they're only if they're like in openable state. So if you have .3ds or .fbx or some other 3D model itself, then there would be a possibility. But you cannot take a mod and rip it out from it, or at least you shouldn't. That's like illegal in some cases. Alright, let's open up Bus Garage. Let's look at some bus. So I choose this one, click customize, and click add new decal. Let's look for it. Alright, so here we can see it, but it's weird. You see, it's a negative. So you have to switch the colors. Pick black, pick white, and now it's working. So here we have a decal. If you put transparent background, you will have no background. So as I did here for Jimmy, you have no background behind the circle, and basically you can do all kinds of small decals or big decals. It's up to you. I don't know, you cannot put them over windows. You can put wraps over windows, but not here. So that's what you need to keep in mind when creating skins, that some things can be decals and something has to be wrapped. Alright, so that's it. We created successfully a decal. So now much harder thing to do is to create wrap. That will take me a lot longer because I want to show you how to do it with the UV maps. Do I make map? Yes, I do. I'm creating one right now. It's like 50% done, I would say. Still need to do a lot of things on it. Is it possible to do different grass and trees? You cannot edit the base map. You have to create a new map in order to use like custom assets, which is the same with the texture of the sky. I myself have a different skybox than in the original game, so basically you have to create your own map. Alright. So let's open up the Photoshop and load out the mysterious picture that was in the folder with the project. As we look here, Steam Library, Steam Apps, Workshop, Content. Here you can see bus simulator 18 bus uvs.psd, which is Photoshop folder, Photoshop file. And if you open it up, you can see all these layers like MAN, A37, Cetras, MAN Bendy, Citaro Bendy, and stuff. Those are UV maps for the buses. So basically we have to paint over this in order to create the skin itself. Alright, so basically here is the front of the bus. And if we look at the picture, and two of them, we have a gray bumper and one is with green. I'll stick with the gray one. So I'll create a gray bumper, which is pretty easy. I have to just go here, find where is the bumper. So that's this part. I will create it from here, and this will be the bumper, and I'll create it gray. Alright, so for me the fastest way is to take a pen and just go here and go on the line which you want to have your skin to be wrapped around. So basically it can take some time if you want it perfect. Some things are not like you need to do it in all details. Other things need to be done perfectly. It's just up to you. If you're doing skin over windows, then it's good to be perfect. But here is we are not doing a skin over windows. We just go and go and go. Let's go down. Now we go up. And we go to this line. Also, I recommend when creating this, have the layer transparent, so you can see still the UV map under. It's not good if you paint over it and you cannot see it. So I'm using a transparency here, and I can see still the UV map under, because as you can see here we had the rectangle, but we need to go lower. So I can still see what I'm doing. I can still go like this. Here up and go back. It's because the Cetra has a weird shape in here, and we need to finish it over here. Let's go up again and close it up. Now we created a shape, and we need to color it. So I'll do gray. And now it's a good time to save it. I always do it like this, trial and error. So Bussim 18 stream. I'll save it as a PNG and wrap. I'll save it, open up the engine again, and just drag it down in here. Wrap. Give it here. Wait for the engine to pick it up, because sometimes it's a little laggy, or at least for me. But this time it's Windows who's lagging. Right. Does it work now? All right. So now we imported wrap. I'll rename it to livestream W. And in mod info we need to add bus reps. Again, +, rep ID. Custom cost, we don't want to change that right now. And take a texture. It's livestream rep. And we don't want to edit this at the moment. We don't need to fine tune it. Alright, so save, cook, copy into the game, and same process again and again. We just want to look in the game if it's correctly aligned, and we can continue later on. So it takes some time to create it, because you want to double check in game every time you do something if you want to look good. As I want to have the mod on workshop, and I want to look good, as at least try like I did before. I did the same skin for MAN, or a little different. It is just white here, but it's on the same base. So yeah, this has been already published a long time ago, and now I'm creating the skin for Citra, because I think the Citra needs more love. I don't really see people using it. It's a shame, because it is a good pass. Alright, copy to game, launch the game itself, and see how the rep looks. The decals on Windows are tricky. They do not work at the moment. They're supposed to be working, I think, but if you do a wrap, it will definitely work over the windows, which is, I would say, the intended way, because you do not put a sticker on the window. You do the whole bus cover, which is what I would say. Yeah, bus simulator on PS4 and Xbox is going to be a big thing, because if you look this way, there's like basically no simulation game, or like no top tier simulation, except farming simulator. There are like no driving simulators there, and it's a shame, because casual players and players who just don't own a gaming PC would love this, and we can see it from the hype it's created. It's released for PS4 and Xbox, so I'm really looking forward to it as well, because playing on controller is pretty comfortable actually. I've been playing on controller for some time, because it's basically working from the beginning a little bit, and now with the latest update, they introduced the interface as well, so you can control the game just with a controller, and it's really nice to lay down in bed, turn it on the TV, and just casually drive around and play the game. Also, I played it on like mobile via Steam Link in bed, and it's really good. Alright, so Bass Garage, we need to buy the Citra, so let's buy the Citra. Actually, I already do own it, so I don't have to buy it. Customize, skins. Let's find the skin, and here it is. So here's the gray. It's so dark, so I'll lighten it up. I'll use lighter gray. And yeah, we can see that the bumper is gray. Maybe I would say it would be good to have it here as well, but I'll use the green to cover it up. And if we look at the picture, here on the front, there is only white left, so there will be everything white. And then from the side it will be green. So I would say that I'll stick with this line to have it green. So maybe I'll add a little bit of green in here, just to have it inside. Yeah, here is definitely some green on front. So I'll do like a green line over here, which continues from here, and then the rest will be white, and we will do it as a non-windowed skin, which is going to be like this. If I look on it, yeah, there's some black. Or maybe actually I will cut the windows out just to show you how to cut it out and do it. Alright, so let's go back into Photoshop and continue with our work. So let's remember this line. which is, I'll zoom out and zoom here, which is this line. So yeah, that's pretty recognizable. Alright, so I'll close the game just to make my computer happier a little bit. So we could see that it's into like a little bit here. I think it was this line. So again, pick the pen and go like this. Here I'll just go across it because it doesn't really matter. It doesn't show up too much. So yeah, and it is this line in here, I guess. Should be. In the worst case, we'll just look again, but I think yeah, it is the same line. Alright, so here, and as we'll put the layer underneath it, we can just create like this, this, and connect it, and let's make it green. The thing is that now it's really bright green and not really nice. Alright, so we need to create like a dark green, which isn't too shiny. This is too dark. Okay, let's pick something. It's a shame that Photoshop doesn't allow this to be in the front. Alright. Yeah, it just doesn't work. Okay, so actually this one doesn't look bad. This one, I would say, it looks like a new one. That it doesn't have too much dirt on it. So I guess I'll stick with this one. I'll put the layer underneath. Okay, so here it looks a little horrific, but don't worry. We'll export it and put it in the game and see how it works. So save as, again, PNG, locate the folder, and we will override the wrap. So save, override, okay. And here in Engine it will be much easier for us. We open the existing wrap and click re-import. And as you can see here we have a green line. So let's put save. Cook the mod, copy it into the game, and you know it. Same process again and again. It's pretty easy to do stuff. So in the meantime, as it cooks and loads and everything, I'll start working on the green line. Basically, we want to have shapes that do end here, so it doesn't overlap, and mainly it doesn't overlap the doors, which can cause some issues as they're glass doors. We don't want the green over the glass because there is like no green here, and basically the glass ends here, but in game the glass is just lower. So did it cook? Yes, it did. Copy it to folder, turn on the game and let it load in the background, and I'll start with the green here. Okay, so take the pen. I'll make it the green that we're using. Basically, a few clicks. And here we should have our first bit of green. I'll copy it because I want to make my life easier and have like a line in here. And I'll copy it again and place it like here, because there is no line in here, so just to make my life a little bit easier, I'll put it like this, so the line is here, so this loads. And also I'll put this here. Okay, as I said, the process is it can take a really long time, and results are good. If you do it properly, results are awesome. so this should be it. I'll delete those. Okay, so this is our second part of the green line. Here we need to create a smaller green line. Oh, that's not good. Okay, so we delete this one. Yeah, it's in one line. So yeah, let's go here and let's close it. Okay, it's not good, so I'll delete it, and in the meantime it loaded. So let's load the company. Take the pen again. Try to create it better. Yes, this I would say looks much better. Okay, so it doesn't align here, but doesn't matter. We'll see in the game. It's okay. So bus garage. Go to the etc. Take the skin. We can see the green in here, the green line. And here it is still white. So we need to do much more in here. We need to put it out much higher. And the line itself is okay. It just aligns in here. It just works, as someone from Bethesda would say. Alright. So we need to fill out more in here. We can see the green is here, but not here. So I guess the UV map is a little bit curved in here. Let's look at the map itself. Oh yeah, the map for the lower part is here. So we would need to create this green in order to work. So at this moment, at this stage, it would be really try and error. So I'll just leave it out for now, and I'll come back to it later when I revisit the mod itself for workshop. Here for the demonstration, I'll continue. I'll do the green bits over here to the left side, then to the right side, and I'll show you how to work with the windows, get it out, and I'll put a logo in here which covers actually a part of window, and I'll do the rest of the skin transparent. So if you set out a white bus, it will paint just the green and black or gray part and the logos, which is like a little tip if you don't want to do much. It's just how to make it easier. So let's quit the game. I'll leave this as I said, just leave it for now. Before I wanted to create the bumper a little bit lighter. Oh no, it's a different shape. This one is green, so this has to be the gray one, so let's make it lighter gray. Okay, this should be good. Alright, let's continue in this green bit. So again, we need to continue with the line. Let's pick the green. Here it is going to be harder, so I just copied the stuff, see the alignment, and just continue. It is much easier to copy stuff and then delete it. I'll put it like this and eyeball it a little bit, because in Photoshop it would continue with the stuff. Oh yeah, and I didn't think this through, so I'll just copy it again and put it on the other side. Yeah, like this. Okay, so now we cannot use the pen because there is a fault in the program. Now it works. So I just had something picked up. Alright. This one is pretty bad, so I'll just delete it. This one's bad too, delete. And it can overlap here, down, it can. It is not a problem if it does. The doors themselves can be a problem, which is the reason why I'm taking some time in here. Alright. It is not perfect. Here I would redo it myself personally, but good for now. And continue here, and it will escalate. It will not go like up, it will just continue in a straight line and it will fade out. For here, I would say that you can create a rectangle, but I would not suggest it because there's a chance that it will not work properly with the UV mapping. For example, on the Citaro, if you would do this in like a mirror, or actually the mirror is part of the windshield. It's how you create a UV map. You just save as much space as possible. Let's go a bit. Okay, so this. And then the last UV map is going, or the last part of mapping will be here. So let's copy it, let's paste it. You can see it fits, so let's keep it. If it works, then why change it? Let's click somewhere else, not to paint over the thing. And here I need to eyeball it. It's not a straight line, damn it. This is even worse. I mean, I'm sure there is a tool for it. There is a tool for everything in Photoshop. I just either didn't find it, or I don't want to bother with it at this moment. It's a work for designer. So yeah, here we do have a green line. It looks really bad if you look at it like this, but don't worry. Save it again. Save it as PNG. Put it into our folder. Replace the wrap. Click OK. Open up the engine. Open up wrap. Re-import. Save. Cook. And open up in game. In the meantime, we need to continue here on the right side. So it will be harder here to pick the line, you would say, but here's a perfect line, I think. So let's go for this line to be the base. I think it will work. We could double check it in the game later. Actually, this is kind of important, so I'll just make sure it works. So I'll save it again and replace it again, just to see if I'm correct here. All right. This part of the stream is like the same stuff over and over again. It's not really that exciting, I would say, but it's just to show that it's not easy to create a full wrap from scratch, and this is pretty straightforward. It's just one color and like few little stuff that we'll add. It's not like difficult design over windows and stuff. So I guess for the demonstration, I'll stick with the left side and here, and I'll move over to the transparent stuff, and I'll show you how to create your transparent stuff in Photoshop if you don't know how to do it. If you download like a logo from internet, how to make transparent background and stuff. It's pretty easy. There are tools for it, so don't worry, it will take much harder, and I'll use those parts in creating the mod itself. So let's wait for the game to load out again and see how it looks in the game right now. I'll just drink some because my throat is really dry right now. But let's wait for the game to load. Okay, so the game itself just loaded. Load the company. And just wait a little bit. And see how it looks in game, and then continue with the transparent stuff, how to make it and how to put it on the bus, align correctly. And then we'll look at map modding, which is the more exciting part of modding. So center again, customize, pick the skin. We can see that the line is here. It does not overlap anything. Here it is a little bumpy. So that's what I would change later. And here it continues in a straight line. So we created a green part in here. I think I messed up in here. It's not supposed to be green. What did I do wrong in here? Let me guess. Am I stupid? Yes, I am. This definitely should not be green. So it's a problem of me, not problem of the engine. Right. So yeah, and the green line continues here pretty much, let's say, in the same spot. If I eyeball it, I'd say pretty good. Yeah. So you would continue with the green line at this side as well. For now, let's close it, and we'll create a new project. I'll create like 300 pixels, or actually let's do 600 just in case. And we want the background to be transparent, and create. So here I have already prepared the pictures, so the text, the logo, and the arches in the colors that I need. So here I need the blue arches, here I need the logo in color, blue text, but here I need the white text, white logo, and a blue rectangle, which I'll create later. So I'll start with the easier thing, which is the logo. So here I have the logo from Wikipedia. Put it in here. It has no background, which is much easier for us. And we have to create object. So I'm using this tool for quick pick and make it bigger. And I'll just pick out the letter and the logo. That if you just drag it over, it will copy what you need. So this is the original, which we'll delete, and this is the intelligent thing. And now if we go only over the RW or the RVE, or just take this, we can simply delete this text. So now we have a transparent logo. We will just copy it to a new project and save it, which is basically what I did in here, to have it without the background, just the logo. Now to create it white, simply again use this tool, choose everything, then put edit and fill, or shift F5, choose a color and you'll paint it. So for me now I have the white logo, which is this. Same with the arches, so I would do that, I delete this and simply just pick out the arches with this tool again, edit, fill. This time I'll use the second color, and now I have the blue arches, and then just rotate them and you have created this. The text is again the same thing, just copy the text and pick it up, make it white or make it blue. And it's how I created these then transparent stuff. I can close it out and don't save it because I've already prepared it for myself. And let's look. Here we have the blue arches coming under a window. We have the window in here, so let's take the blue arches, put them in here. We need to rotate them -180 and definitely make it smaller. If we look at the picture, they're not too big, and also I need to flip them, but that's the minor detail right now. I would say maybe a little smaller, yeah, like this. I think if you look at this way, it's almost all this part, so like half of the front. Here it is not a half, but the bus is a little different, but whatever. Okay, and now we take this, edit, transform, and we need to flip it. And now we flipped it. Oh, I want to move these things. I need. So again, another thing that's pretty good to do. Put it under. If you're moving something, if you're editing minor stuff, and then just move it back again, back up, so you don't overlap it. Hold shift when rotating. Oh yeah, I forgot about it. That's a pretty good point. Here I will put out another track list because we finished the first one. Let's continue. So another thing, the logo and the text, which is on the right side. Let's go here. It is blue text and color logo. So let's start with the blue text. Much smaller. This should be alright. And let's keep it in this line because it's not on the top. So let's place it. This looks pretty good to me. Now logo, again, much smaller, but it's bigger than the text. Smaller, and like this. You can see that there's some edge, so we'll see in the game how it looks. Let's place it, and let's make this go away. And now let's save it without the background to see how it looks in the game. Again, prep, save, override. Same in engine, again, re-import. You can see the UV now, and if we re-import, the UV is gone. But don't worry, in the game, all it will do is just make the bus the background color you've picked, and it's one way to have small decals on the wrap without creating decals and scaling them down, because you cannot scale down the decal to infinity. If you want like really small stuff like the text, it's better to make it in the wrap. So that's one part. And again, after this we will create this bit on the window, just to demonstrate that you can put stuff over the windows, and the rest will be just continuing over and over again the same stuff. So this cooked, copy to game, and let's launch the game again after some time. I'll just make sure that this works. Okay, load the game again and see. Okay, so again we have to wait some time. If I would have the game on the SSD, it would be much faster. But yeah, I do have two SSDs, but games are not on them. I use SSDs only for projects, so yeah. So the game loaded, load the company again, and put the skin on the bus. Again, loading the company can take some time. If you have a company with like 70 buses, it will take much longer. But no worries here. So let's pick the Citra, customize, skins. And here you can see that it is still green. So white, white. And the edge is here, so we need to put everything down. Everything needs to go down. That's the reason why we do everything like trial and error, because we can now see that we need to move it. We need to move it a lot. So I'll move it all the way that it's almost in the edge. So Photoshop, put this under. Actually over, yeah, that's what I need to do. No, under? Oh, I'm doing something different. Where are the arches? Here are the arches. It can be in the edge, can be a little over the edge. Okay, so everything needs to be under this line. So yeah, I would say it's correct now. Again, thank you for the tips for Photoshop, because I'm not really used to it. I'm just learning stuff as I go. I never had like proper training, so thank you for the advice, and I used it and it actually worked, so thank you. So what I'm doing, I need to replace the wrap, close the game, open up the engine, re-import, it moved a lot down, save, cook, and do it again. And after this, We'll look at the rectangle up here, or the windows, and then we'll look at map modding. And for everyone that subbed, thank you for the sub, and it's a shame it didn't work, but I wanted to this happen. For everyone who subbed, that he would see his name and the bus just come here and go by again. So thank you everyone for the subs and the support you're giving me. The bus was for you. And we can see that we corrupted the cooking with clicking. That can happen. If you click in the command prompt, it will stop. So we have to cook again. You could see that it was stuck. Here I can demonstrate. I just again clicked and it stopped. So you have to close it manually and click cook again. So let's not click it actually this time. Make it cook. Copy in game. Do a fun look. And then continue with the rectangle over the window, which is going to be on the right side. Here we have the window itself. I'll make it like this. Oh, actually now it works. Now the alerts work. Nice. Thank you for the subscribe, Ruscom. Thank you. Actually it now works. I'm happy. Because I was setting up everything. Then I had to change it. And then I had to change it again. But now it works. So yeah. Thank you. So this is going to be our rectangle shape. Let's make it dark blue, as it should be. Let's put the white logo in here. Much smaller. Does it overlap? Yeah, it goes from it a little bit. Let's make it like this. And let's put the white text as well in here. Come on. Pick up. Okay, so again, my computer is not really responding well. But sometimes that can happen if you work too fast for it. If you just copy stuff everywhere, it takes some time. So let's better not rush everything. Let's make the text a lot smaller. Some more. And here, put it there. Save again. Save as PNG. And actually I did the other thing again and I didn't load the game. So it would be better to recook it and then copy to game and wait only once for it to load, other than wait for it to load. And oh yeah, I didn't put out the layout, so let's do it again. PNG and save it as wrap, replace, re-import, cancel the autosave because I don't like that, save, mod info, cook the mod, copy to game, and then see if it works. You should be coding, but you're watching. Well, I'm glad that you're watching because I like that. But on the other hand, you shouldn't be the guy who doesn't do stuff in time. Especially if someone else is depending on your work. But on the other hand, thank you for watching, and I like it. So yeah, let's launch the game and see how it looks in the game, and then we'll move over to creating and continuing in my map mod, which you could see on the stream invite if you saw that on YouTube. And if you're new, didn't see the invite, or just don't know what I'm doing, basically I sometimes tease it on Discord. I'm recreating the first part of map in Bus Simulator 16 into Bus Simulator 18. So actually I can play the I could play it. So stream invite. I don't have it here. Maybe I moved it. Okay, so let's go over to YouTube. Let's go to my channel. I will mute this music and open up the invite. Here I have a direct comparison between bus 18 and bus 16. Here we can see the garage from bus 16 before it was bus 18. Basically, I'm talking about stuff that it will be at the same time. And here you can see from bus 18 drive towards the bus stop itself. This is the environment in game. And after this will be bus 16 comparison. Here it's not one-to-one, the lighting is different, everything is different. But the layout, the roads are same. They're not one-to-one scale. They're not one-to-one scale, but the basic layout is same. As well as I tried to keep the theme of the buildings more or less same. As you can here see, they're like old town buildings, like really tall residential old buildings. And that's what I used in bus 18 here as well, old town buildings. And sometimes I just change the environment a little bit, but the layout is same, and that's what I think is the most important thing. I do not have my own Discord server. I use the Astragon Discord, which Psycho put in the chat right now, so thank you. Much easier. There are separate rooms for chatting and for modding. There are some screenshots, there are bug reports, and it's not only Bus Simulator 18, it's more Astragon games, so Construction Simulator and Fishing Barents Sea, and I think something more, maybe? Let's take a look in here. We have the modding channel, suggestions, screenshots, bug report, chat, multiplayer search, so if you want to play with someone else and you don't have a friend who has the game, you can make a new one. Fishing Barents Sea, Construction Simulator, and Truck Simulation, yeah. So, that's it. And if you tag Psycho Cow, he'll respawn in some time. I know he'll not like me for that, to say that you should ping him. But if you have a really good question and it's not like a stupid one, which was answered a long time for a few times, then yeah, go for it. So here we would need to move it up a little bit to start it from here. Let's make it white. But otherwise, you can see that it is on the window. It's transparent a little bit, but if you look from here, it's working. It's like the same stuff in buses. If you look from the side, you can see that those are the dots that you have in real life. So that's the reason if you look from the side, it will not look good. But I would say that it's the same technology as in the buses in real life. So yeah, definitely I would move this up a little bit with the text. Maybe make the rectangle a little bigger. And yeah, that's how I would continue. I'd do the green maybe even lighter and do it around the bus. Put the decals here as well. And we would have a finished bus. So let's quit the game and let's leave this in this state. I'll finish it later and publish it onto Workshop. Now, it would be good time to show you how to publish onto Workshop. So, I'll do most of the process but it will not actually upload this. So you need to download Steam command line. So you just Google for it, Steam CMD. You download it, install it. You have to log in, and the password is seen. So it's good that you don't do it on stream. Just a little side note. Then in the mod tool config, you need to set up the path for it and the Steam username. And then the other important thing is to open up where you have the unpacked project of the Bus Simulator 18 modding kit, and open up the plugins folder. Find the folder that you want to upload on Workshop, so for example here, and have a picture named steammod.png with capital S and capital M. Needs to be under 2 megabytes, and it's basically the header of what you can see on the workshop. So here, for example, I have the Jimmy Daly stuff that I created, the wrap. It's old one that I re-uploaded. So yeah, this is this. Donation with credit card for money. I have the, or at least I should have the donation link under. Support the stream, and it's PayPal. And I don't know if the credit cards work, but there is a PayPal, and there is not a Steam link. I have a Steam link, but whatever. If you open up the workshop, there is as well this button, but I'm not working for money. I do it because I enjoy it. So yeah, you need to configure it out and create the Steam mod in the plugins folder, and then you click update, click upload, fill out your info. So like here, I would click on the upload to Steam. You need to cook it first, then upload to Steam, fill out the Steam ID, password, Steam card, everything, and wait for it to upload. And then you will find it in the workshop and under your files. It will not be public. So you just need to open it up, your uploaded files, open it up and edit everything, and then click public. And from that, it will be public on Steam, and everyone can download it into their game. It will take some time for Steam to process. That's the matter of Steam. It's not the matter of game. So you have to wait like 5 minutes for it to work. But if you have this link, you can send it to a friend and he can download it at the same time as you create it. It just takes some time for it to show up on the workshop page. So for example, if I would click the newest one, it wouldn't be there if I just uploaded this now. So let's look at the more interesting part, I would say. Let's open up the map that I'm creating. Here you can already see some stuff, some assets that I'm using. Some are downloaded with no royalty, so royalty free stuff, and some I created, like this basic piece of fence, or like a brick wall small that I created, just 2 bricks, add it up. And let's open up the map itself and wait for it to load, because it does take some time. As you progress, it is bigger and bigger and bigger. At this moment, the game, the mod for the game, here we have the cost map T. Here it has like 3.7 gigabytes, and the cooked map has like 800 megabytes at this stage. It's not done yet, and it will it will need some optimization. It does not run smooth at the moment, but that's because it's not tiled out. So if you load the map itself, it will load everything at once. So that's not really a good way to do it. In OMSI you have tiles, same thing is here. You tile it out, you separate like big objects, small objects, and the game will decide what is more important to load. So here we have the map itself. It looks extremely bright in here in the editor, but in game it isn't that bright. And we'll wait for building the navigation. You cannot see it over the overlay, so if I just hide it, I'm building some navigation. That's basically building the layout of the roads, and it's for the AI to know where to drive, for the pedestrians where to walk. And you need to wait. I mean, you can start doing stuff, but it will be more laggy. It's also building out the shadows, previews, and everything. So we'll wait for it to load, and then I'll show you my progress from last small stream, testing stream. I'll show you what I have in mind in like small plazas. I'll continue in one street that I want to make it look a little more living like, and then add some buildings. Also compare it with bus 16, so I guess at some point I will fire up the bus 16 and take some pictures how it looks in here, because I want to continue in here. So I'll open up, look how this street looks, and hopefully build this street out. And yeah, building these streets isn't that hard. It's just small little details like leveling the buildings. You can see that it is not like millimeter perfect, but trust me, you cannot see that from bus. And also it would take much longer to be detailed, but this is pretty much good enough. And you can get away with stuff like there's nothing in here. If you close it out, there's no problem about it. Biggest problem is if you have like corner, then sometimes you can see, if I would get out and walk like here, you could see that it is a little weird. But the main thing is to make it look good, know how to deal with this stuff, and sometimes just don't care about it. Because imagine you would work on it to have everything perfect in here, just to be driving in a bus and or walking around where you cannot actually see it. Like, yeah, you would look up to the cathedral, but if this was not aligned and it was like few centimeters away, you wouldn't notice. So that's what I'm saying. You don't have to care about every little detail, which is not really shown. But at the same time, if we look here at the street, at the plaza, here are details very good. Because otherwise this would be just a blank space which is really not looking good. So you would drive around and there was nothing. There was nothing before. So you would be driving like this. Oh, there is a big gray nothing like in here. I need to fill out this as well somehow in the future. So I decided to create like a small marketplace, and like small details, fountain, some benches, trash cans, little trees, some bigger trees, statue, some ads, and like a stand with a little menu, some bike stands, and it just adds a lot to the map. If you look here, it doesn't seem so empty now. And at the same time, you don't want to put too much clutter, because then it would look not good as well. Here, for example, I did like a small cafe, or like cafe area. Little planters with small plants. Again, some add. Here, few chairs, some tables, sunshades, statue again, and that's how I make these plazas look a little better. Here, for example, fountain, some benches, some trees. Looks much better now. Or without, otherwise it would be without everything. It would be just blank, which is not good. Here I'm planning on doing like a small street walk. So again, some ads. Maybe I'll do like an alley of trees, which could look good. So actually, let's do it. I'll pick the planters and I'll create like a row of trees, and then I'll continue at the street, the back there. I'll fire up the bus simulator 16 just to look how it works there and edit. So yeah, let's move this to the side because I don't want it in here at the moment. I'll deal with it later. And planters. So basically, if you fire up the modding tools, you have a lot of content in here which you can create the map with, like the basic content in game. How to find it? Well, I would suggest that you have some Unreal Engine background before starting modding the map. But if you click on the content and filter, type SM underscore, it means that you're looking only for static meshes. In short, it's everything that's buildings, trees, or trees could be foliage actually, but like buildings, ads, and other architectural stuff, benches, and everything. So SM underscore for static mesh, and here now you can find every static mesh that's available for you. So like these buildings, you just draw out the building. This one was not good. Here, you draw a building. Now we have a building. Here you can draw a bush. Now here is a bush. And basically you drag out what you want. So that's how you get all the assets on the map which you want. So for example, I want a planter. Here I have the concrete planters. I have a wooden, and I don't want to use any of those because I know that there is a better one, but I don't know the name of it. So you can just scroll around until you find it. Here there's a planter with bench, which looks pretty good for me because I want to create some benches. Here this one was named green space. It doesn't matter, you would find it in here. Like wall elements here, if you're creating something different than what I'm doing now. You can add a wind turbine if you really want, but I mean, who would put this in the center of the city, right? So yeah, let's delete it. And we know that we want to use the tree planter with bench, so I can delete it from here. And let's create like a small alley with benches and trees. So I'm not using exact measurements in here normally, but in alley I would say it would be good to have it exact. So edit the camera speed as you need. Sometimes it's good to have a faster camera, sometimes it's good to have a slower camera like here. Okay, so I'll copy it and move it like this. It's not in a straight line, I know, because both X and Y is changing. Because if we would go in a straight line, it would be this, and we don't want to go in straight line in here. So one way would be to measure it out with like coordinates, which is something I recommend doing if you're doing something precise. Here, if we go to city, there is nothing precise. If you're not living in like New York or any other big American city where all the streets are planned out and straight. In most European cities, you cannot find like a strictly straight street. And you can see that the buildings are going a little bit to the curve. We'll copy it with the planters. So let's add a few more and then add trees to it. And just make like a little alley. Then I'll add a bike stand, some bikes, and some trash cans, because it would be good for citizens to have a trash can there. So yeah, I would say this looks pretty good to me. So let's add the trees. You can use the built-in trees, or you can download and use custom trees, as I'm doing in here sometimes. These, for example, are custom. It's from public Unreal Engine landscaping stuff and tree stuff. Everything I've downloaded and not made is royalty free, so public to use. And you can just like copy the tree in here. You can see that this one was not textured, because I didn't go through the hassle of texturing it. But let's look for some trees that we want to use. So I don't want to use bushes, I want trees. So trees are not here because they're not named trees. In game, the trees are often as blueprints, which is BP, and they have it on the end, so underscore BP. And we can find the maple, the oak, poplar with planter as well. BP is because they have like animation and stuff. It's just a blueprint, so if you open it up, there should be some stuff in it. They just use it for the collision, I see. So they didn't want the static mesh to have collision as a box, so they use it as blueprint. They added collision in here and put a static mesh inside. That's cool. So I don't want to use that. They're too big. If we look at them, they're too big. We can scale them down. We can scale it to like 0.5. And now it's much smaller. And this actually looks better. So let's scale it to 0.4. So I think it's too big. And now it's perfect, I would say. So let's use these different trees. Let's use a... Oh, this one is really big. So 0.2. And from big tree now it's a small tree. And you can see that the collision is here as well. That scales too. And now you don't have to scale it again. If you just copy it, it will take all the properties with it. So you don't have to go with the scale again and again. But I want to use few different trees. Let's scale that down again. So 0.4 to... Actually, let's make this one a bigger tree. I know it doesn't really make sense in an alley to have different trees, but at the same time you need to think about that it is a city and those planters are artificially added. So you could have different trees in here. You would just put there a bigger tree and smaller tree. You need to have diversity. If everything looks the same, it's not really that attractive. Which is the reason why I try to use more of the same type of stuff. So you can see that they're all maples, but they're different maples, and you can see it on them that everyone is a different style of a maple. And here, now, if you look from here, it just looks much better in my opinion. It looks much better than the empty space. We've added just only a few of trees, and it looks better. How to improve it now? Let's add the trash can. So we can either use built-in trash cans, which are like these, or actually I did a custom trash can for the park. So it's these static meshes that should be combined into one, if you ask me. To be honest, I had some problems importing it. So you just put it in here, group it, and now you have a trash can. But to be honest, it has a lot of polygons. You need to be careful about your polygons. If you add too much polygon heavy stuff, it will lag the game. You can see that here it's smooth, but as I go here, it becomes laggy. That's because there is a lot of stuff, there is a lot of grass, a lot of trees, and you need to then tile the map up so it loads properly. And I don't want to put a lot of polygon heavy stuff in here, so I'll delete it. As you can see, it takes some time for it to move, to compute everything, so it means it is a polygon heavy object. This one is good. It's optimized for the game. So let's put 3 of those. Let's add like 4 of them. Let's have one here, another one like here. Let's put it on the other way of the planter. Let's have it here. The third one will be closer, will be here, and the fourth will be at the end again. Everything is all just about placement. It's up to your imagination what you want to create in your map. I haven't used any landscaping in here, although in Bus Simulator 16 there is some landscaping. But pretty much I'm happy with that it's just a flat map. You don't have to go to a hill. I like it this way. That's what I would prefer. I know that a lot of people want something different, but at the end it's you who's making the map. And you should listen to your community what they want. But also, you need to remember what works, what doesn't, and what you want to create. So, let's add a few bike racks and bikes. So again, static mesh underscore, and let's look for it. Here, bike rack. Let's use one spiral in here. And let's add here a round one. Again, the variety of stuff. I really need to drink some water. Really dry and I'm mispronouncing stuff. So I'll just rotate it and have a quick drink. So hang on for a second. Then I'll add bicycles to it, and I'll show you a little trick that Astrogon did, or Still Life Studios did, to have more of the same color of one stuff. So hang on for a second. Alright, now let's close the water bowl. Okay, here we have the static mesh bicycle. It's blue, right? No, it's not. It's green. Oh no, it's pink. Yeah, that's... They created it the way that if you rotate it and move it, it will change colors, which is pretty good for map modders, because you put one here, you can copy it, and it will have a different color. And it's much easier than to search for like a different static mesh which would have a different color. So yeah, here I have 3 different colored bikes pretty easily. But no, I don't want to use that. I want to have different bikes as well, because using only one bike, I would say, is not really the way you would see them in town. Not everyone has the same bike. So yeah, let's make it like this. You have two of the same and one different. Someone put it sideways. I like it. I don't know if it would work in real life. I think actually being sideways is more like the thing that would happen. I'm not a biker. I don't ride bikes, but common sense would say that those should be rotated. So yeah, let's do it. And here we have one bike rack. Make sure that those do not intersect if you want to care about all these small details, but that's just up to you. Also, if you want to put like one bike stand, you can. There is a static mesh. Or actually you can do it yourself. You can build your own bike rack and import it in the game. Which is something that we should actually look at. How to import a custom stuff into the map. So I'll load up SketchUp, which I have at the moment in trial version. And I'll show you how to import the basic stuff. So let's start modeling. Let's make it simple meters. We can put this into the background for a second. It will be a really quick show how to import stuff into Unreal Engine. So, remind me later, I don't want the update. Let's search for something in 3D warehouse. Let's say we want a bike. So yeah, I want, for example, this BMX bike. Let's load it. I don't actually recommend using the SketchUp warehouse to anything. It's not in scale. It's not royalty free, definitely. And if you're creating something, you should be caring about the licensing. But for the demonstration, here I have a bike. File, export, 3D model. And we need to use the FBX file format. It's the only way how to import stuff into Unreal Engine. So let's name it bike export. You can export to FBX in almost any 3D program. For example, Cinema CD4 or C4D actually. 3ds Max, Gmax, and all the other 3D modeling stuff. Autodesk Maya, for example. In everything you can export to FBX, which is the file format that is used by Unreal Engine. Actually, Blender is a really popular one. I use Blender in some small stuff, but SketchUp has the warehouse, so it's the reason why I'm showing it on SketchUp. You can see it's really polygon heavy, so it's not a game ready model as well. So let's wait for it to export, and then I'll show you how simple it is to actually import the game. So we need to find it. Here it is, bike. Open up the Unreal Engine, open up your folder of the map. So it is here, and copy it. Just simply drag and drop. Wait for it to import. Here I would suggest that you import the materials and textures, but sometimes it can crash. So if it crashes, it's because of this. So disable it, create the textures and materials yourself, and put it on the model itself. You can also pick if you want to combine meshes or not. Let's import all, and wait, it's importing bike. It now just imported the bike, and we cannot see it. So let's scale it. Let's scale it to a 10. It is a small bike, but here we have a custom BMX bike. So basically that's how you put models into Unreal Engine and into your game. You need to create the FBX output file, which you just drag and drop into the Unreal Engine and import it, and it will process everything. Here we don't have textures because we didn't set them up, and SketchUp doesn't like to output textures. But if you use like professional grade stuff, which is like Cinema 4D. I would say is pretty good program. Use that in school. You can export with the textures, which is what I did like with these walls. So those were made in Cinema. This as well, and simply you export with textures and you're happy. So let's look for another bike that we can put. Oh, it's called bicycle. So should be bicycle. You can see there is a lot of stuff. It takes some time for it to filter out. Be patient about that. Here we have the mask material, so you can see the different colors and the materials. So let's put one of this, one of this, and let's just keep 2 bikes in here. Let's make it simple. You don't have to have full bike rack everywhere. It wouldn't actually make sense. So yeah, I would suggest going really close to it, because you don't want it to be somewhere where it doesn't belong. Because if you're actually doing those small details, you should do them properly. There is nothing worse than a flying bike or flying car on your map, which is something that Still Life Studios noticed when they let me test their game, and I was flooding them with flying cars and bikes. But actually they fixed it, and I'm glad, and it looks pretty good. So I approve their work. Alright, so we've added a little tree alley. Took us about 10 minutes or 20 minutes, I would say, 10 to 20. And it just makes this part of map look really, really good, or much better than before. So let's continue. Let's put the camera speed to 7. Let's move here. Or actually, let's make this better. So put the camera speed to 4. Close it. Type in static mesh underscore and wait. What I'm looking for is a little railing that you put around the tree. So let's look for that. I've used it in a different part of the city. So let's look for it. You can see that there's a lot of stuff that you can actually use, which is pretty good. That the developers thought about it. How to keep the modding community and modding as accessible as possible. So yeah, here 3 guard. So here is a street. What could make it look better? Let's add some trees, shall we? So let's put like a 3 here. I'll do just a tiny bit part in here. I don't want to do it at the moment on stream because it's just, again, adding some trees, and that's not a fun way, or that's not fun thing to do, in my opinion, doing these minor details. So let's put 3 threes. Yeah, the pun intended. I just thought about it that we should do it. Alright, and you can see that they're not aligned like the same distance, so let's make it better. Again, let's add some trees to it. I want to use a different than the built-in tree. And I'll go over here. I'm using, what is this tree? This is thin green leaf tree. You can see that the frame rate here is worsened. I need to tweak this part, this park, and this part of map, because the grass is just too much grass in here. I'll probably delete it altogether and just leave the grass underneath. Maybe add like a few pieces of the mesh. But this is just, it's not running well, and I hope it will be better in the future as I start optimizing the map. This one, thin green leaf tree, so Actually, let's be really lazy. Let's copy it. I'm holding down Alt key to copy stuff. Pretty basic and pretty useful shortcut. You will use it a lot, I would say. At least I do use it a lot. So let's move it into the planter. Or the railing guard. And let's copy it again. And actually didn't hold down the Alt. Let's copy it again and rotate to make it look different. If you're putting a tree so close to the road, make sure that it doesn't overlap. Here it's good, but if you would use like a lower tree, it would not be good. It wouldn't look good if you have a car driving through a tree, if it doesn't have collision. If it has collision, then the car wouldn't even drive through. So yeah, we've added 3 trees, and if you look at the street, it looks different. It's so simple to make a street look different. Just add a few elements to it. It looks better. But don't do it in every street, because that would be repetitive again. For example, if we look at the residential area, I have only one street with these trees. So let's make it slower again. You can see that I have trees around here. If you drive here, you'll have trees. And suddenly the trees stop at this intersection, and I have no other trees in here. That just makes it more attractive. Have like these random stuff happen at some point, at some parts. If you're driving, then you'll remember, oh, Gentian Street, that's where the garage is. And Crown Rest Street, for example, that's where the trees are. And small houses, and that's where this car is, and this expensive car. Or this playground near Gentian Street and the garage. You just need to have the environment look different, so you don't drive only on a flat surface from A to B. If you add landmarks, you will remember that, for example, at this stop there is a metro station, and at this stop there is a town hall, at this stop there is a big factory, and all this stuff will make the map much more attractive. I'm sticking to Bus Simulator 16 look and layout, so I don't add too many landmarks. Like, for example, you could add a castle. You could have a line drawing to castle. That would be a good idea. If you create like a map with older city, new city, connect them together, and then castle, it would be a good tourist line going to castle, for example. So here I added a small playground again. It's good to have something in the map. So here as a landmark on the street, I chose to add a railing and add a playground to have it different again. Don't have every street the same. Okay, so it would be good to add few buildings just to show you how to add buildings and how simple and difficult at the same time it is. So let's scroll up. I'm using certain buildings for the old town. So let's drag a few of them in here. You don't want to use the same one over and over again. You want it to have a color. But you don't want to repeat those colors again in one particular order. You need to think about it and make it non-repeating. If you have a pattern, it's not good. For example, here I have a white, red, green, yellow. But here I have red, green, white, red, green. It's just different. if it's the same, it doesn't look good. Here, it is repeating, but it's changing as well. Green, white, red. White, green, red. If you look at it in certain perspective, it can be repeating. But if you're driving along, you'll see it's not the same building again. It's not green, white, red, green, white, red. It's different. And that's what you're aiming for. You don't want the city to look you don't want everything to look the same, basically. Or at least that's my point of view on map modding. Yeah, sure, if you're creating like a new part of city which has like high commercial skyscrapers and new buildings, then maybe it could look the same. But here in Old Town, no. It wouldn't fit it if everything is same. So, my main point here, how to place a building is down. You want it to be sticking out a little bit. Also, align it with other buildings. So you want the roof to have it the same height. Here it is lower. As you can see, it's not good in here. Here as well we have a ending plate, so let's move the plate here a little bit. Let's make it above. Okay, so here this tree needs to go up a little bit, so let's do it. Let's make it not sticking in the ground. It will look just better. So let's move all the buildings up a little bit. And that's something that you can prevent by doing it, just taking care of stuff, looking at everything. Here, roof, more or less same. Tiny difference, but at the corner you will not notice it. I added some graffitis, some decals that are in game as well, just to have a different look at the corner. The modding tools have so many things that you can put on, not only static meshes, but if I destroy this and go to game, environment, buildings, you can have blueprints for buildings with like a sound, static meshes, that's what we talked about. You have them categorized in folders. But for example, if you open up foliage and trees, you have trees in here that are not named under static mesh. Also you have sound classes, sounds, so you can add like a radio somewhere playing, like a house with really loud radio turned on. So we could put like this sound wave in here, that it's coming out of here. I don't want to do it, but if I were to add like a club, then it would be good to have music playing out of it. So let's put this building here again, align it, make sure it is aligned, rotate a lot, because you don't want it to be straight in the ground. And we can see it needs to go up. Here it doesn't align, but the most important thing is the ground. So here I will add a plane with the cobblestone texture to create like a sidewalk here as well. That's how you prevent this stuff happening. So I create them a lot and just copy them, because it could be one big plane, which is something I'll probably do later in the future, but for the testing purposes I'm creating like this, move it up a little bit. It can do like a small step down, but it's better if it doesn't. So here we have a perfectly flat with the sidewalk, and you just extend the sidewalk in here. the pedestrians will still walk over the sidewalk. They'll not walk there, but you can walk there as a player. So yeah, we could continue like this and create a whole street, but I would suggest that it would be a good time to save the map, cook it, and I'll show you the map in the game, give you a little preview of how it looks in game, give you a sneak peek, which is something that you might be waiting for from the beginning, and show you how it can look in game. Because you saw it now in editor, it's really bright, doesn't look that good. But if we put it in the game, it will definitely look miles away from this. So let's open up the mod info, which needs to be created. We have a map here. What also needs to be created with the map itself is a bus stop grid, bus stop group. You put all the bus stops in here, name them, set out their max level, unlockable, and if you have a sound cue for announcement, put it in here as well. You can set if the bus stop is accessible by bendy bus or not, which is this boolean. And how you create it, you take a BP of a bus stop, so bus stop underscore BP, put it here, data table, row name. You create a row in here, so you'll create a new row here plus, name it, and here you will assign it. That's how you add the stop, the name. And in game, if you pick the stop, it will recognize this place on the map as the bus stop. So let's cook it and see how it looks in game. This time the cooking will take a lot longer. So let's wait and see how it looks. So let's be honest, guys. Almost an hour passed that we started looking at the map modding. It's less than an hour. It's like 3/4 of an hour. And all we did is just a small part of the map. You can create it faster, but if you have the attention to detail and want to put more stuff in it, it will take time. I'm creating this map actively for like few months now. It just takes some time. You can create layout in a few minutes. The layout itself was done in like half an hour. Then this old town, which is like stuff that I did over the summer break from now, took me like 5 or 6 days just to do this. It just takes some time. Then another day to add clutter to the streets. Another day to look at lighting. Then these parts, they are about 2 or 3 days for one each part. It's repetitive work, so if you don't have the motivation of, like, let's say release date, you'll do a part and then you're bored, so you want to do something else, then you come back. So for example, I did like half of this, then I worked on the part, and then again I myself did something on the map. Like for example, the park was done, and then I decided, no, let's redo it. Let's make it look better. So I did. It looks now like this. I'll show you how it looked before. I'll just find the picture. Also, it's still not cooked, if you're asking. So let's find the picture of how it looked before. I think I have it here. Okay, so it's almost done. We just wait for it to show the click to continue. Alright, so this is how the park looked before. It's not really good. It's just a few trees. You couldn't access it. And this is basically how I did the map. Just placed something. This is like almost done. Or like done. This is done. This is done. This is what I said before is done. Here is a different look on it. Just a few trees and rocks. It doesn't look good. It's just so basic. And this is how I recreated it later. You can see a lot of grass, a lot of trees. I reduced that number because of frame rate reason. But this is how it looked in game, or this is editor, and in game it looked even better. This is from like the entrance view. This is how it looked. I reduced a little bit of the grass just for the frame rate, but to be honest, if you look at it, oh, it was actually from the other side. No, I changed the trees actually. I remember now, because I used a different tree and it was just high polygon tree. It just added a lot of polygons, so I removed them and used the basic one. But if you look at this and this, it looks a little worse, but still much better than before. Now if the sky's different, it looks good. In game, it looks better. Okay, so let's continue. Let's open up the mod info and copy to game. This is the part where it will take up to 10 or 15 minutes to load to the game itself. Because it's not tiled out, it will take much longer than the final result that you want to upload to workshop. Or actually, if you have like a beta version or test version, why not? You can upload it in this state, but it will take a long time to load. So let's close out the engine. I don't want to say that this is from the test bike, so don't save. Let's close everything out because I do not want my computer to have any running stuff behind, because loading this map is pretty demanding at this point. It will change in the future, and last time I had a stream up, it crashed with the editor open up in background, so that's the reason why I want to close it. Now we need to wait for the game to load and then to create a new save and choose the map. So again, I'll show you how to start actually a new game with a custom map. And also I have a few maps downloaded from the workshop. If we open up workshop, actually other members of community did some work. Here are a few of the maps. This is a complete map. This is test map. Again, test map, test map, test map. Everyone who's making this map is pretty much in test. They just release a test version and then work in the background on the full version. I would say it's better to release like almost done version and then just update the small things. Like for example, this is the map that's like done and released. And I talked with the guy who made it. Awesome guy. He helped me with the setup, how to start. So really big thank to him. And he did like private beta test, and then later he released the full stuff. So let's name it Alpha 0. I don't know what was the point before. I think it was 5A, 5.7, so I'll make 5.8. It doesn't matter that much. It's just 5.6, so let's name it 5.7. Here, select city. We want to select the city that we're rating and create. Now, don't worry. It will look that it's bugged and it stopped responding. Do not click it. Do not make it not responding. Just forget about it and leave it. It's better to mute it, which is something I didn't do at this point. So we'll listen to the Bus Simulator 18 main menu sound in the background. And because it's like not responding in Windows, you cannot open up the sound mixer to mute it. So just stay patient and do not care about it. Forget about it. I'll turn off the music just to have it not mixed, and just wait for it to load. It will take a lot of time. So yeah, this is the completed map on Workshop. Again, another map test, but I would say this map is actually in a good state, that it's drivable. It has pretty good environment. I drove it once, I liked it pretty much. So yeah, he's making another map. This was like the first map that showed up on Workshop, which was a technical test, and it just shows that you can use the full Unreal Engine possibilities in here. He has openable door. Here you have a button and you press the button and it will light up here the light. Here there is a button on the side and it will open up the fence. That's everything you can do in Unreal. Basically, you can do anything that you want on the map. If you want to have like flying cars as a props there flying, that's your call. You can do it. If you know Unreal Engine, you can create it. For example, I'm using the custom blueprint to create like a wall without putting the meshes beside each other. This is, for example, the blueprint. It's just a picture because I've already closed my Unreal Engine. But here's the blueprint. It just spawns the actor, sets up the mesh that it puts behind it, sets the collision, looks for the rotation and position of the mesh before, and corrects itself for it. So it's in theory pretty easy, but in reality it's harder. And this, for example, is the official array that Unreal suggests, Epic Games suggests that you should use for it. It's much more difficult blueprint. But the one I'm using is pretty much working, so there's no reason for me to use this array blueprint. And I really like Unreal Engine, the way it's working. You don't have to know like C# or C++ to create something. you use pre-made blocks and you simply think about what it should do. So I had a little project where I tried to learn Unreal Engine. So I had a collectible stuff that I need to pick up. So I put like if I put a branch, if you hit it, then something happens. So there was if collision with actor happens, then you delete the actor as you pick it up and add score. And if you don't, it will just stay there. And that's how you can create stuff here. You can like do, if you click a button, something will disappear. There will be animation of something disappearing. That's how you would create a gate entrance. You click a button and the gate will move slowly to side. Or for example, I was thinking about putting the coffee back. Oh, the sound mixer loaded up. That means that the map did something with the game and it's close to loading, close to be loaded. Back to my point. In Bus Simulator 16, before you drove out, you could drink a coffee. That's something still live and has been removed. And I do not like it. I want my coffee back. I really need my coffee. So I was thinking about actually putting back the coffee into this map. So probably I'll create like a blueprint with a static mesh of cup. And there would be like hovering text, like drink coffee. And if you click it or use it, it will disappear as you drank the coffee. Or actually like write something. If it's possible, I would like to write on the screen to have like coffee drinked. And just the actor have to disappear. So you could drink coffee. It wouldn't have an effect as in Bus Simulator 16 you would get like plus points for drinking the coffee. You wouldn't have that here, but at least there would be a coffee to drink, which is an upgrade over the original map with no coffee. And seriously guys, I'm doubting that you built the map without a coffee. You're programmers. You're basically living on coffee. How could you do that? To be honest, that's like the one point I would change about Bus Simulator 18. Like the one small detail that if I could add, I would add it instantly. The coffee. And also, there was like a drank passenger, but to be honest, it doesn't have to be. I just want my coffee back. So I hope I'll add it in Sunny Springs for Bus Simulator 18. As I said earlier, I would say that the map is about 50% down. You could see the progress yourself before. I would say that it might look like it's almost done, but it's not. I want to have the street some character and to look it like in Bus 18. If we just look here simply, I'll open up. If you look here in the background, you can see like poles in here, walls, postal boxes, and ticket machines, and all different stuff you can add. I'll open up the folder with screenshots, find something that's not related to work, which was bug hunting, but most of them are fixed already. So for example, yeah, let's open up this. Let's not talk about this. That's what I did actually. I crashed into a car, but whatever. Here we can see the planters with like trees, poles with flags. That's something you can add, like a little kiosk with a cloth over it, some benches, and basically you can just have the city living. This is like away from its look from helicopter on the city. I created a custom bus which was too big and flew away. That's like the only way I could do these aerial shots. And I must say it looks pretty cool from upside. You can see a giant wheel in here. That was just like a modding trial and error. But even here the garage looks good. With all the people here. Here, like this minor detail. You have a billboard and graffiti over it. It just gets to you when you think about how detailed the original map is. And it's really hard to replicate it. So, still not loaded? Okay, let's wait some more time. Let's look for some other things. Let's open up this. Here, some ads again. Numbers on the buildings and names on the buildings. That's just a minor detail, but it adds a lot to the game. Oh, finally, it loaded. So, let's pick some colors, like this for example, finish. And I do not have a minimap set at the moment, so you can only see those stops. But it works. If you create a new route, and put it like that you want to drive through it. I mean, I didn't start well, like Gentian Street, whatever. That's not the main point. I'll drive the route I created earlier, which drives through the old town, does a loop, and then goes to the end, and then I'll drive without the route. But what I want to show is the announcement. I don't want to drive this bus. Let's buy a new one. Let's pick, for example, the MAN 821, my favorite bus. It is from the DLC. It's the CNG small MAN. I really like it. So let's go. Start the trip. Pick this one. Quick start off. We want to drive in day. And let's go. Start trip. I will be driving on keyboard, so it's not my usual style of driving, but let's hope it will work. Let's open up. So this is the garage. I was thinking about adding a coffee like here on the tires. You would have it like here, you would drink it, and you would drive. That's something I'll look into later, as I need to gain some knowledge of Unreal Engine, actually how to do it properly and make it look good. Alright, let's put it in drive. Let's go. So as we drive out from the garage, here are like smaller buildings on the left side, billboards, which is same as bus 16, and on the right side the Gentian Street and Old Town in the distance. I added the annunciator from Bus Simulator 16, so as you drive you can actually hear next stop, Gentian Street, and other stops. I think it adds a little detail to your map to have actually the announcements. And yeah, if you look at it, it's bright, but not that bright as in the editor. I would say this is a pretty good sunny day, lots of sunshine, really good mood, and you just want to be here. That's like the vibe I get from the name Sunny Springs. Should be sunny, should be spring. I mean, it's not the way how the city is named. Like the springs isn't the time of year, but you get the feeling. The sun needs to be sunny, looks good. So that's why I make it bright. I don't want it to be moody and dark. So yeah, I'm driving. Here is the St. Paul Church. I use the cathedral from Sunnyside Valley? Or what's the name actually? Yeah, Sunside Valley. from Bus Simulator 18. It's the main cathedral. So yeah, let's drive left here. This is the part of the map I changed. In Bus Simulator 16 it doesn't look like this, but it acts like a character to it. It's not all the same again. So let's drive through. Here it needs some lighting. If we go out and look, it's too dark in here. So I would suggest adding a directional light in here, just to bounce off the ground and bounce off the building. Seaside Valley, actually. Damn, I was beta tester for it. How can I forget this stuff? Man, yeah, I should think about stuff before saying them. Okay, so I added like 18 on the coffee shop that it's like Bus Simulator 18. You can play it in here, for example. And just adding these signs on the shops, I would say makes it look more real. That's the reason why I add small Easter eggs to the map. The names of developers are basically the names of those shops. And here is my surname, little Easter egg. Here is surname of my moderator in here, Psycho Cow. So you'll be immortalized on this map. Here is name of one of the producers, and really a big help to me. He helped me a lot, and that's the reason why I want to put the developers back into the map. They have their names in the original, and I want to put them here as well, because they helped me all a lot. They were helpful when I had some questions, and I can then later pass these tips to anyone else and help them again. So if we look now, looks pretty bright, but before it was dark, so I guess that my direction light that I had there placed before started kicking in. I need to tweak that a little bit. Lighting is, I would say, the most hard thing, or the hardest thing on creating the map. Nail the lighting and it will look much better, the map. I saw some maps that were really dark and they weren't bright. So I would suggest look at the lighting and edit it. If you edit the lighting, it will help a lot. So let's close the doors. You weren't going on, or are you? No, you're not. Okay, let's continue. So on the left there is a church. It's not finished. You need to get up. Okay. I want to add like a fence around it, just like in Bus Simulator 16. I need to create like a fence, static mesh, and do it. So let's continue and go right. Here, the old town meets like a smaller residential area with like smaller houses. Here you have like apartment buildings on the right, on the left, smaller houses. This is one of the streets with trees. As I said earlier, it just adds a variety to the map. It's not everything the same. So we drive straight here and then go right. We'll do a loop around the street just to get to Rake Street West. It could be planned a little bit better, but I want to show you the difference between the streets. And after I finish the route, I will do some free drive. Here I added a speed bump just to try how it works. I will add few more in the final map. I know that some players do not like them, but on the other hand, now you can turn them off. So why not add it? And if you don't want them, you can turn them off. So let's close doors after he gets on and continue. On the left side, there's nothing yet. There will be trees just like in Bus Simulator 16, but I haven't added yet. I want the frame rate to be somewhat stable for now, to be playable around the 30s, and then I can add it and tweak it. I want to be able actually in the creator to do stuff. If it lags, it's not really optimal for you. Another way how to reduce the lag is to not create long splines. For example, those fences, they're splines. If they were too long, it became laggy. On the left you can see the custom railing that I did. It's a small touch, but it adds again to the map. This is like the place where I took the picture for the invite video and stuff. The background for the stream as well. We're driving through the small residential area. It's like small houses, small neighborhood. At the same time, there is a park on the left. You need to switch up the environment. So, for example, the building in front of me has like rose bushes, whereas the buildings on the right have only trees. And some of them do not have a tree. Some of them have 3 trees, 4 trees, and stuff like that. So let's go around again. Here is the street with the trees again. It's the big one. So I have 2 in the residential area and now will be 1 in the old town part. So let's drop off the passengers in here, which is the last stop, and then I'll continue on free drive. So I'll turn around and continue. I know you shouldn't do this, but I'm going to. Okay, so now I need to reverse and go back again on the street. So let's go, let's continue. So I want to show you the rest of the map as it looks right now. The residential area is something I didn't cover in the editor too much. So let's drive. I'm driving faster than I should be here, but whatever, there are no speed cameras at the moment. So on the left, the residential area, on the right, a little wall and the trees. I need to add like a background to it so you don't see the white behind the trees. That's something I need to figure out how to without putting like thousands of trees, which would harm the frame rate again. Small details like this. I've added containers for recycling, so plastic, paper, and other. Then again, here's like a small swing set and small playground for the residential bigger buildings. It's not like a small family house. So again, think about diversity in the map. Some of these buildings do have a pool because, yeah, if you have a family building or residential small building, in Czech Republic we call them family buildings, family houses, if you have a garden, the chances are that you will have a pool in summer because, yeah, if it's really hot, you want to go in a pool. So I added a few pools in here as well because it made sense to me that someone would have actually a pool. Let's go right. Let's go right again at the gas station. In Pastumeter 16 there is a gas station. It had no purpose, I think. It was just a building. So it's the same in here. Here in front there is a escape road which will drive around the city back to the old town part, because you cannot have a road without a connection. You cannot have like a dead end. So that's the reason why I decided to connect it and make like a drive around. I will probably do like a trees around it so you drive in a forest, but that's not done yet. That's something I will worry about later. So let's go this way. On the left, the park again. On right, trees. Later it will change to billboards, and after it, again, small residential buildings, and then the old town. On the right there will be the garage. Here in front you can see that I added the decals on the ground. That's something I need to add to every stop later again. So you know how to position your bus to stop perfectly and get the perfect rating, which is something you want, the 5-star ride. That's always what you want. I ran a red light apparently. Well, let's go. So on the right, again, small residential buildings, bigger residential buildings, but not really those apartment buildings. Small playground, again, something different. And here, we're back to the garage. The streets in the old town still need some tweaking. They need to be finished. So I'll just get out and just show you on foot. They're just plain. If you look here, we have a different buildings, so they do not all look the same. Again, old town. Here was the decal. Those are the 3 buildings that we added on stream. And in game, when we drove the route, we continued straight around the St. Paul's Church. On the left, again, small residential area, like apartment buildings, like a kiosk on the corner. Here is the type of the wall or fence. I'm not sure if I want to use the wall or fence yet, but that's something I'll sort out later. And here another like city street. As you can see on the left side, those are the 3 trees that we added, and I'll probably add some more stuff on the right side too. I will not add trees. I will have them only on one side of the street, but I'll think about something on the right side. And again, playground with railings, so if the children runs out, it cannot go into the road for its own safety. So pretty much, if you look at it from here, it looks much better than in the editor. And the lighting, the engine, the skies, it just adds so much to the final product, final thing you're doing. So if it doesn't look that good in the editor, wait for the final result. So I think then that's pretty much it for this map for now. I need to work a lot on it. There are still some unfinished parts. I need to create a minimap. I need to work on missions and do a lot more. So thank you everyone who stayed till the end or watched the video from YouTube, the record. I want to thank everyone who was here and thank you for watching. I really mean it. And I hope you liked the stream and you maybe learned something on how to create your own stuff, and you'll create something because this game needs the modding community. If we create new mods, we can improve and make it better. And if we have a healthy modding community, in the future we can do a big stuff, like a big map with custom vehicles, custom buses, and just expand. Look at other simulation games. Euro Truck Simulator, it has a lot of mods and it adds a lot to it. So let's make this game big as well. Thank you everyone for watching, and I hope you'll enjoy the rest of the night and the rest of your days. Thank you and goodbye.